My name is Rocco de Giacomo, and I'll be reading poems mostly from my book Brace Yourselves, which is my latest collection. The poems are divided into two different types. There are confessional free verse poems, and then there are centos. And for the centos, what I've done is I've taken the language of the internet and taken sentences, phrases from the internet, from internet websites, and assembled them into poems. So the first one I'm going to read is a confessional. It's entitled Before. I'm 10 years old and in the dark, Mom, and okay with sand between my toes and your silhouette from the hall. The low roar of sleep comes as the sleep comes, and you, despite all that's said, hush and promise that you'll be around for a while yet. I need it to be 1983 with you in your arms and off the Florida Keys, beyond the reasons of the flying fish as you push out. I need time to make everything you whisper from your morphine drip forgettable as the ocean that blankets us. I've grown blind to its salience. We are so far out, and when you have barely the strength to speak, I understand that we've never really talked. And what am I at this point? But a silhouette in your hall, scared of my own voice, listening to you spell out all the sea has confessed. The next poem I will read is a cento, and it's entitled Evangelical, assembled from the websites of Benny Hinn and Pat Robertson. Evangelical. Behold, I stand at the door and knock, but so help me, it's what you do behind closed doors. Yes, you, the one who has a haughty look and a proud heart, can keep on going to church, but your iniquities have separated you and your God. There is nothing in the Constitution about separation of church and state. Come into my heart. I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. Congress shall make no law. Oh, when will you come to me? They're watching the computer, or they're in a hotel room, and your sins have hid his face from you. Pray to receive Jesus Christ into your life, that God-shaped vacuum which I'm pleased to be the president of, is the only way to God. Think of that. God has given you the right to become his forgiven child. I stand at the door. I am together as one in my home. You, the rest of my days. I won't permit slander. This next poem is a confessional. It's entitled Strength in Battle, and it's for one of my daughters, Matilda. Strength in Battle. I scoop you from the oak water tub as if from a house fire, still attached to your mother by a coiled telephone line. You come up full of late autumn, a fight in an old kitchen, the oxygen burning through your seabed skin. The midwives, no doubt, will roll their eyes at how I describe things, me, the hero. But there you are, Matilda, you, an element glowing in a cold room. This is emotional. The birth water that streams down my arm is a river in Cape Breton in the fall. This could have been disastrous, a dead call from a dirt road, the last sighting of someone I love, but in heroic fashion, I think at least, I dig deep, reach through, and pull you close, your skin smelling like a good day for raking leaves. The next is a confessional. It's entitled ESL, and it's from one of my experiences as an ESL instructor. ESL. There is the weather, yes, in Etobicoke. The giant tiger, the fresh pink mulch under the shrubs, your pregnant wife. How your neighbor came to her at 1 a.m, told her if you didn't quit working with the rabbis, he'd deliver your head to her as a gift. You arrived in Canada after they shot your cousin and friend in front of you. You talk like my Italian relatives in Buffalo. You look like you belong at their kitchen table on Easter Sunday. In class, you're on the verge of saying something to the Muslim ladies across from you, and I want to take you aside and tell you that what has happened to you has happened to them. But who am I? Whose worst sufferings include a lost dog in grade 5 and being mugged while drunk as a teenager. My tongue is an opinion column from the Toronto Star. Who am I to teach about forgiveness? I'm going to read another confessional. This is called Absolute Normality. A month after my mother's diagnosis, Ari and I stop in for a drink at the Keg, and he's telling me about his daughter's funeral, and how someone there had approached him and asked, "Well, what are you going to do now?" We hadn't come here to discuss this. It was just a pit stop on the way home from North York General. Jerry from high school had just had his leg amputated, diabetes, a cut that went septic, and a month later, everything below the knee was gone. The drinks come, and I tell Ari that I can only have one before I pick up Ava from daycare. Ari balks, and the waitress says her dad used to bring a flask to her soccer games. 3 in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and we're all doing what we've got to do. How else am I supposed to answer that question? Ari says. I've got a family, a business to support. This place is great, isn't it? And it's true. On the outside, it has all the charm of a lady's shoebox, but inside, nothing but hand-carved ice and wine-colored pine. A week after these drinks at the Keg, 2 weeks before my mother succumbs to cancer, another friend will die in his apartment from what a coroner's report will describe as a heart event. It's cool and sunny for his funeral, and at the bus stop afterwards at Gerrard and Woodbine, I'm telling Jacob that he shouldn't shout at cabbies just because they slow down and ask if we want a ride. Then I see Ava walking with her daycare troop. She sees me, but she's 3, and I'm totally out of context for her. She looks at me without recognition, and for several sweet moments, we are just 2 strangers who could love each other very much. I'm going to read 2 centos. For these 2 centos, I'm just going to briefly describe the circumstances. With my wife's permission and guidance, I created 2 online dating profiles, one male, one female, and I guess posted them to eHarmony and to Plenty of Fish. I didn't engage with anybody in conversation. I just simply wanted access to the I guess the blurbs they have for themselves, and I wanted to compare the languages of both sexes to see how they talk about themselves. The first poem I'm going to read is a cento of the male online dating profiles, and it's entitled I care those who cares me. I love those who loves me. I am a normal person. Irish Catholic politician working in finance. I play. I help who I can, riding the waves of life, in turn gliding over the winds of fate, divorced, calm, quietish, nice-ish. I'm single. Every day peels away another layer of understanding. I love sports. I am a normal person. I repeat, single. I don't smoke, I eat well and barely drink. Originally European, I'm complicated yet very simple, witty, a hard worker, very chill, and a good guy. Looking for a good-looking girlfriend, not only for the night, but especially for the day. I'm a normal person. I love my family, spending time with my beautiful family. I help my family, and I help who can get married and start a family. I love my work and my life. I'm not some married adulterer who's looking for a casual fling on the sly. I am not a joker to entertain everyone. I know I'm not the prince for whom you've waited. I am a normal person. This is entitled Ladies First, and it is the cento of female online dating profiles. Ladies First. Mother, humanist, bibliophile, realist, sassy. Great cook wants to add some spice to your life. I'm a 31-year-old who's currently working her way through another degree in nursing by night. I fantasize about being a superhero. Where do I start? I'm a single parent traveler nerd. I'm 47 years old with 3 grown sons. I'm a 50-year-old widower getting hitched to Captain Morgan, swimming even in rivers. I love football. A bit shy, humble, flexible, patient. No hipsters. I like guys who shower every day and smell clean, smiley face. I'm about organic foods, superfoods, and super herbs. I have inner and outer beauty, repeating my gratitude at all times. I'm glad I'm not a cat because I would definitely be dead by now. Wonder Woman was my first idol. I love sports, video games, movies, and I'm currently planning my Easter trip to Southeast Asia. Honest, bright, colorful, super down to earth. Then came Charlie's Angels, Storm, Electra, and who wouldn't want to be Celine in Underworld? It's a great job on any given day. I might be interpreting a surgery, a jury trial, or an interview. Elegant, educated, and usually wearing a stethoscope. I am not into one-night stands, so please don't ask or send me any strange requests, serious or completely silly, depending on my mood and situation. I am a curious human being, a poorly assembled collection of mismatched animal prints in a flannel shirt masquerading as a nursing graduate. I believe life is magical no matter what. I'm going to read a new one, and this is entitled, Let Me Tell You Something. One of my students from Turkey reads my latest book. She then hands me a copy of Neruda's Best and says, "Here, teacher, things in the world aren't so bad." For my latest, I've collected tweets of teen girls wishing death upon Arab children, 9 pieces of advice from a battered woman on how to hide from an ex, and a small anecdote from my father about a neighbor's son in Mussolini's Italy slowly dying from rabies in his cellar. I don't think she is suggesting I write about happy things. Reflections on my mother adrift in an ocean of morphine may have elicited concern about my well-being. So I read her book about Pablo's Vietnamese woman, now dead, hiding herself, her child and her breasts in the mud, and I'm reminded of his poem. I'm explaining a few things. And the blood of Spanish children running without fuss through the streets, as the poet screams, "Come and see, come and see." Pablo, this isn't healthy. Should you dwell? There is something to be said about pressing down on a bruise, often an unavailing vanity disguised as personal anguish. But I don't think we should confuse that with burning away our malignities with light. I don't want to focus on our cruelty, but sometimes it's either that or we wait until the flowers of our houses erupt into bonfires set by fascists.